Yes, we think it will hold. We think that 6.9 will hold. Well, one of the major concerns that we have right now, or the catalyst for the sell-off, is really the weak US market. As you know, volatility has returned in the US market with the S&P 500 falling quite rapidly in a span of, say, 5 days, no? Before it paused and it went down again and now it rose. First of all, we talked to Mr. Edward Lee, who has a very long experience in investing in global markets, and he said that the weakness of the US market is an indication that we're at the tail end of the emerging market sell-off. Okay, so of course the Philippines is part of the emerging market sell-off. Fund managers tend to sell their weakest stocks first, and then of course they tend to keep their favorite blue chips last. And if you look at how the global market has performed for the year-to-date period, almost all markets globally have gone down significantly except for the US, which has remained one of the strongest markets, if not the only strong market for the year-to-date period, except of course this October it started to go down. So that could be an indication that, you know, fund managers have nothing else to sell, so now they have to sell their US stocks. So it means they don't own a lot of Philippine assets anymore. So that's how we view it as being good. It means that they're done. They're almost done selling. Locally, we're seeing signs that inflation has peaked. And remember, our rising inflation is one of the reasons why we were cautious during the start of the year. Inflation has continuously been going up and beating expectations. No? But there are indications that it has peaked or will peak already for the month of October. For one, rice prices have stabilized already, and the government is doing something about it. And also helping the situation stabilize would be global oil prices having gone down, the peso actually strengthening. So we don't know how sustainable the drop in oil prices and the strengthening of the peso will be, but at least that would help inflation. And I think it also helps that the BSP is trying to anchor expectations, because the BSP actually said that they will they may increase interest rates still in November, just to send a signal that they're very serious about controlling inflation. They have actually increased rates by a total of 150 basis points already for the year-to-date period, which we feel will already help control inflation expectations. And lastly, valuations of Philippine stocks are already very attractive. So this is something that we have said. If we look at all 63 stocks that COL Financial covers, around 80% are already trading below their 10-year historical average PEs, and 50% are trading more than one standard deviation below their historical average PEs. This just means that during the past 10 years, it's 50% of all stocks traded at higher valuations. So from that perspective, you know, it looks very interesting for investors to actually start coming in and start accumulating these stocks. So the reason why we're excited about low inflation is the implication on interest rates. With inflation peaking or showing signs that it may start going down, I think interest rates will stop going up and may in fact go down already, which is of course good for stocks. My stock picks are actually the same, haven't really changed. I think there are some concerns about Bloom because it has gone down quite a bit. Just want to explain that the reason why it's down a bit is because the Macau gaming stocks are weak right now, and there are some speculation that the third quarter earnings might not be very good. So if you're a little bit concerned about that, then maybe you should skip Bloomberry for now. That's okay. For PLDT, I think there are some concerns about the possible third telco. as there have been, I think, a total of 8 possible bidders for the third telco license. However, we think that it will be difficult for the third telco player, even though it does win the potential bid contract. Because remember, the third telco will have to spend a lot of money, and it will take a while before they can seriously disrupt the operations of both PLDT and Globe. It doesn't help that right now there's no clarity yet on the common tower policy of the government, and the government has admitted that it cannot prevent both PLDT and Globe from building their own towers. So in that respect, it will still be difficult for the potential third telco to be a major disruption to the operations of both PLDT and Globe.